People like the fact that they can see it's real. It's not just some big corporation. The biggest part for me with the first initial batch was the branding. I think that is one of the most important things about the product because I think it makes it more premium. It means I can sell it for more money and make more money.
This 15-year-old is running a $100,000 business on the side from school, on the side from sports, on the side from just regular teenage stuff. Stick around in this one to hear his process for coming up with the idea, how he made his first sales, and the growth in marketing tactics that have helped him scale to hundreds of orders a day. From CoolTowel.co.uk, Harrison Nott, welcome to the Side Hustle Show.
Well, Nick, first of all, thank you for having me on, and I'm really excited to share, my top tips for everyone.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one as well. I believe you're the youngest guest in the 12-year history of the show. You probably started when you were a toddler.
I was 3 years old. Yeah, I was 3 years old.
Yeah, that's exciting in its own. So CoolTowel is a cooling neck towel inspired by getting hot and sweaty playing squash as a kid.
Yep.
So you just wrapped up your third summer of this business. Started when you're 13. It's kind of nuts too. Yep. But can you give us a sense of how this summer went for you?
Yep, so this summer I'm projected to £100,000 in revenue, which is about in dollars, about $130,000. Obviously that is revenue, disclaimer, that's not profit. Transparent, there's lots of costs, hidden costs involved. Everyone sees that big figure and thinks I'm making loads of money.
Sure.
Actually, I find more value in the skills that I've learned and the knowledge that I've learned along the way.
You got to be eking out some profit on that kind of sales volume.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I think, I'm probably sitting at around 20 profit. Which is good.
That's fantastic. To have that kind of experience under your belt
it's
and
all
to do
it's all back into business.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. So where does this idea come from? It seems like almost kind of a commodity product where people would go on Amazon and say, "Okay, I heard of this thing." Like, I'm not very brand loyal when it comes to this thing. I don't know of any brands that are making this. So it's just like whatever comes up and has decent reviews. So what inspires you to say, you know what, I'm going to take a swing at this?
Yeah, so I love playing sport and going to the gym. That's sort of my passion. And 3 years ago, I decided that I'm sick and tired of being hot and sweaty and uncomfortable. And essentially, I went onto Google and I searched up, like cooling towel, like ways to cool down. And it turns out aircon's expensive. Fans don't really work that well. They just push the hot air around. And the cooling towel wasn't really a thing 3 years ago. It was around, but it wasn't. There was no big brand selling it. So I thought, there is a gap in the market for this. So I got my grandma to come round, and she brought her sewing machine with her, and we got a microfiber towel. And with this microfiber towel, we sewed it together around an ice pack. We made the first ever CoolTowel prototype.
Like a little prototype, sure.
A little prototype, yeah. And that was sort of the beginning. That was when I thought, okay, well, this prototype didn't work, but actually I know that, there is a future for this. So I went on Alibaba.com and I found a manufacturer willing to produce and supply the CoolTowels and bought 50 units and just scaled it from there. That's the story of how it originated.
Okay, so if they were willing to do a relatively small initial order run, because sometimes when you go to Alibaba, it's like, yeah, we want 500 units, 1,000 units, and you're like, well, now that's a lot of upfront inventory costs for an idea that maybe not quite proven out yet. Maybe other people are selling them, so there's some level of validation, but it's like, well, I don't know if they're going to buy it from me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I did have to sort of negotiate my way down with that, and I think because I've used the platform before, and I sort of I had experience with negotiating with suppliers, and also I think they knew that I was trustworthy and I wasn't just going to buy 50. I think they knew long term that I was going to buy more, and obviously I have.
Okay, so step one sounds like personal pain point. I'm hot, it's uncomfortable. Like, what solutions are out there? Okay, here's something that I believe that could solve the problem. Step two, go find manufacturers, people who are making something similar-ish. Did you have any modifications for this initial order, or was it just like, just throw my own brand on here, the CoolTowel brand, and we'll see if we can sell those? Or what else went into that initial production run?
The biggest part for me with the first initial batch was the branding. I think that is, one of the most important things about the product, because at the end of the day, there are similar products out there, but for the CoolTowel to sell, it needs to show what it does and how to use it, and all the information on it on the bottle. And I think that's something that I put a lot of time into at the start. Like developing the brand and making sure it was perfect. Because then it sort of gave me that clear pathway to sort of scaling up. Because I think if you have bad packaging, if you have bad branding, and people won't value your product, and you'll get returns, you'll get bad reviews. I think it makes it more premium. It means I can sell it for more money and make more money.
Were you hiring out that design? You're 13 years old. Were you doing it yourself? This
I
cool
did do it
little like
myself.
polar bear with a guy.
Yeah, well, this isn't the original
Nice.
packaging. This is
Okay.
updated, but the original one I did myself. I think the main thing for me with CoolTowel is it wasn't the first business I started. I started since my first business was at 8 years old. I was reselling on eBay and other platforms, and
Sure.
essentially
At 8 years old, I love it.
at 8 years old, I'm not
I
not joking.
got a
I've got
9-year-old.
proof.
I got to make him listen to this episode. Yeah.
I've got proof. I think I've always just liked the idea of I mean, it was never for money. It was never money for me, really. The reason why I started it was because I liked the idea of being successful and almost like becoming my best self. But I also enjoyed the process, solving the problems. I enjoyed starting a new business. I enjoyed learning about how to grow as a person and as an entrepreneur. I think that's the main thing for me. And a lot of people, when they start businesses, they give up after the first hurdle. They get one problem and they just give up. The key to my success was I was resilient. I kept going through because I started 13 businesses, and I think
Yeah.
out of the 13, 10 of them were failures, really, and 4 of them are successful. But the 10,
Okay.
the 9 that were failed, took so much of my time, so much of my effort, so much of my money, and it all failed. I think most people, after losing all that and spending all that time, would just give up. But actually, from that, I've gained so much knowledge, so many skills that I can apply into the next business, and keep growing.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're 13 years old. You're lobbing emails off to China to find a manufacturer through Alibaba.
Mm-hmm.
You get these 50 units landed. Do you remember the production cost for those first 50?
It was about £3 per unit.
Okay.
So
Okay, that's
it was
helpful to
50
know.
units, yeah.
Got it. Okay, so you get these landed out of your spare bedroom or the garage or something.
Yeah.
Well, now I got to sell them. So what happens next to try and move these units?
So again, from previous businesses that I've done, I've learned skills like web development, creating video campaigns, and learning about social media itself. And I think I applied all them skills. I spent months developing the brand.
Okay.
But essentially, I created a website on Shopify, and I then developed video ads, and I posted them organically. And also utilised UGC content eventually, because I didn't have the capital to spend on paid ads. The organic definitely paid off because it was profitable, much more profitable than it is now. But the only difference is obviously paid ads is predictable. You know that you're going to make money, whereas organic is hit or miss. You don't know. You can't guarantee anything with organic, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Was the organic content under your own handle? Was it under a CoolTowel new handle?
It was under a CoolTowel handle. I think the original videos are actually deleted now, just because they weren't the best, but they did well. They got a good 1 million views. But
Gosh.
the content that I've got on there now is they've all got really good amount of views. I think they're averaging 500,000 with paid. But they're also, all the ones I've got on now are UGC ads. I only really do UGC right now for that TikTok account.
Okay.
And I think that's been really helpful for me to grow, because the people that are making content are experts. They know how to sell products, and they have all the equipment and all the skills necessary.
Got it. Yeah, well, I'd love to get into the UGC or the user-generated content in a little bit, but it sounds like you throw up the Shopify store and you start to create these own video ads about the product. Do you remember which one or two, the format or structure that popped off and got to 1 million views, and I imagine helped move those initial units?
Yeah, I think it was videos that I did that had trending sounds, it was almost like a drop shipping type of. If you've seen all them drop shipping videos on TikTok where it's like just the product, so I had like just the product. It was a good hook. It was a controversial hook, I think, some of them, and like it was targeting their pain point. Like for me, it was overheating, and it was like, and some of them were about menopause, some of them were about at the gym, some of them were about all sorts of stuff. I had lots of different pathways I was trying to go down to see what performed the best. And at the end of the day,
Okay.
it was trial and error. Like there was no set in stone video scripts that worked.
Yeah. Do you have a sense of the volume of these little videos that you made?
Yeah.
It could, 5, 10, 20. Like what's reasonable to say, okay, this is either going to work or this is not working?
I think I posted about 50 videos before my first one properly blew up. I mean, I think the 15th video did well. It got 30,000, 50,000 views. But then I think the 30, 40th type, that sort of area, that sort of zone,
Okay.
was where it did really well.
The reason I ask is it's helpful to know where it's like, well, I posted 5 things and I've kind of exhausted my creativity and it didn't make any sales. So I was like, well, I guess this is not going to work. It's like, no, I take 30, 40, 50 swings and keep iterating on the, and it's interesting. You say, oh, I need to find a controversial hook. And I'm like, well, what's controversial about a little cooling neck towel? It's like, you gotta make it applicable and then try and find some angle.
One thing I did do in 2023 especially is I looked at similar, not CoolTowel, but not cooling towels, but similar. So it was drop shipping ads I was looking at and seeing the viral, the outliers, the ones that have done really well, and then taking them and sort of putting that idea and not copying it, but putting my own spin on it. I think that's what I did because I obviously you say about my creative mind, and I couldn't develop 2 videos a day doing it all by myself. I had to go to other people who have done well already, and it's the proof of concept's already there.
Is it all Shopify at this point on the cooltowel.co.uk site, or is it set up a TikTok shop in parallel?
So at the start it was Shopify, but then after about a month, I went to TikTok shop, and basically. So throughout the end of 2023 and the whole of 2024, I was only on TikTok Shop because it was doing incredibly well. I think the conversion rate was like numbers that I have never seen on Shopify before. It was just, I think because the platform was new, it was pushing my videos out further, and also it's got a bigger platform for businesses. I think it's got a built-in affiliate system. That really helped me grow, and it also, I think the fact that users don't have to go off the app is also really good. So they don't have to go to a separate website. They're always on TikTok. I think that's good.
Yeah, maybe there's something in the algorithm where TikTok wants to keep people on the app, or maybe they make a cut of every sale.
Yeah, absolutely. I think TikTok Shop is great. I think it's definitely got its big benefits, but the only thing I would say is it's also got its not so good aspects. I've had a lot of issues with it. I can go into detail if you want me to about the not so good.
Like fraudulent orders, or like what kind of issues?
Yes. Well, the first 50 orders I ever got. So this is the story. So when I first got that viral video that did really well organically, I remember waking up and I remember running into my parents' bedroom and going, "Oh my goodness, I've just sold 50 orders." I've just sold 50. It was the whole stock. Everything that I bought in my first batch.
Right.
And it was literally it was my first time properly that I've done side hustles in the past, and I've done small businesses, but that was the first time that I thought I can really scale this. I can really take this to the next level. And obviously it took a lot of time to do that, but in the moment it was amazing. And essentially, long story short, I sent out the orders for the first time via it was called second class shipping. We call it in the UK. But essentially, they didn't have a tracking number. All of them didn't have a tracking number, and I thought that would be okay. But TikTok Shop did not like that. And even though I had proof from every single buyer that the order has been delivered, they didn't pay me a penny. So all of that time, all of that money spent on the product, all of that. I even had to pay. I had to pay a TikTok shop fee, even though I didn't get any money back. So it was a big loss on the first one,
Oh my gosh.
and
Okay.
it was
They
a
were
big
like,
deal
we
because
require you to send it some method that can be tracked.
correct, yes. I mean, it was in the small
Oh,
print, but it was just a mistake,
yeah, brutal.
and I
Oh
think,
my gosh.
yeah,
I'm
I mean,
sorry to
I
hear
had
that.
lots of things like that, and that was all my capital gone. That was a big moment, and I think
Yeah, I
again
was
a lot of
gonna
people would have given
plow
up
that
then.
into more inventory. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, oh
yeah,
my
that was
gosh.
big. The main thing there in that moment was I learned that the proof of concept was there. I know that there is a demand for this. It can work.
Well, you got kind of a narrow selling season, and now if you got to go back to your manufacturer, and it's going to be another 4 to 6 weeks to get the inventory
Correct.
to you, it's like, I
Yeah,
need it
yeah,
now.
yeah.
I gotta get it here now.
And that's definitely one of the big issues I had. Was one cash flow because it takes, especially when you start off on TikTok Shop, it takes I think it was 2 months from the order placed to you getting the revenue, the money in to your account.
Oh, sure, sure, okay.
So, and then I also had to then take that money and then spend it on product, which would then take another. So basically, I had no money for half the summer, and that was my big
Yeah,
issue. I had no cash basically, um,
and
but
this is um across any type of physical product, e-commerce, where even if you find something that hits, okay, it was a big initial order quantity. Okay, I got it landed. Now I'm either almost practically giving the units away. This is the traditional Amazon model to get reviews and build sales
mhm,
momentum to try and climb in the ranks and hopefully make some organic sales. Or I'm running paid ads to try and, boost up the conversions and everything else. And it's like, and then whatever you made, if there was any margin left, now you got to plow it back into more inventory. Sometimes for
yeah,
years, this cycle
yeah,
goes on. So
yeah.
no,
I mean,
I
that
can
is
relate to that.
that is exactly what happened really. So for the whole of 2023 and I would say half of 2024, it was just recycling. It's just literally like trying to build up their capital, but then waiting again. And then I then got into paid ads in mid 2024. And that's when,
Okay.
yes, I started to scale up a lot more. I had months where I was selling 500, 600 CoolTowels. That was big for that time. Um, but then obviously my margins were significantly cut down because I was selling the product for £8. Yeah, £8 I was selling it for, and
Okay.
I was spending £5 on ads alone, and it was just not. It was I was choosing like quantity over actually making money. It was stupid, really. Now I look back on it, it was stupid. 'Cause I just wanted to see all them orders. I wanted to see the success. That was just a schoolboy error of me,
Yeah,
I think.
how much volume can we push?
Correct.
Sure,
Yeah,
but
it was like
meanwhile you
how far
gotta.
can I take it? Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's yeah, that's interesting. Have you been able to get the cost of acquisition down this summer?
Yeah, this definitely 2025. Yes, I've TikTok have released this new thing called GMV Max. Essentially,
No.
what it does is it runs ad campaigns for you via AI, and essentially it just means you don't have to know anything about ads to run them. But what you do need now is a lot more creatives. You need a lot more people, and you need to make a lot more content to do well on it and to
Okay,
get your CPO down.
got it. Okay, is now a good time to talk about how you think about the unit economics of this, where it's like, okay, well, the initial production run was £3 per towel, but now we're ordering way more at a time, so that production cost goes down, and we could sell them for $8. We could sell multiples, and give customers a discount. Like, talk to me about how you think about the margins on like a per sale basis.
Yeah. So when I first started, I was buying them in about £3, and I was selling them for about £8. Um, Obviously there are lots of hidden costs with that. So TikTok take a 10% fee. In the UK now, I have to pay 20% income tax. I then have to spend a set amount on the ad spend if it's not organic.
Yeah,
I then may have to spend 20% on affiliates because they get a commission for every sale they get. I've got subscriptions to software that I use. I've got
sure.
lots of stuff. That I think that's what people need need to know about starting a business is the numbers look amazing, but when you really deep dive into it, I'm making money. But don't get me wrong, I'm making money. I'm grateful to be
Yeah,
where
but
I am.
it's thin. There's
Correct.
not a lot of wiggle room there.
Correct. Yeah, no, I think
And
I have improved that over time. So as I develop my brand, I now charge £10 per unit instead of 8. So I've increased the price a bit. But I now have to spend. I now get charged 20% VAT, so that's almost taken off. But I then.
Sure.
I've obviously lowered my CPO down. I've lowered my ad costs down. So yeah, and also my product costs. So it goes both ways. Yeah.
So the advantage of the ad spend is, well, I can drive steady sales at a somewhat predictable cost per acquisition versus just trying to hit the next viral spike on the organic side. Am I kind of understanding that correctly?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, got it. How did you go about recruiting affiliates or user-generated content creators for this, or those are kind of one and the same?
So TikTok Shop has a built-in platform for affiliates and for creators. In 2024, what I did was first of all, I was manually going through the list of, I don't know what it was, like 10,000 creators, and I was manually pasting in each message, sending off each message. I was spending hours on this, and I was getting people were replying to me, and I was sending out free samples, but it was slow. It was very slow, and there was definitely a lack of creators on the platform at that time. But now in 2025, I use a subscription-based software to basically automatically send out messages for me to creators that are doing well, which is obviously much better. Although it is.
All right. What tool is that?
It's called Reacher AI. Especially, I think it's only good if you know that you have. Well, I think it's only good if you have an established brand, really, because I don't think I could have done it from the start. Just because to get them affiliates to accept, you need to have proof of concept with your product. You need to have sales, you know.
Yeah. Is there an opening pitch where they I'll send you a free towel, or do you have to lead with I'll give you £500, or do you have to lead with you can earn 20% commissions on all of this? Like what's the initial conversation look like?
I filtered on the platform. I said only message people that have over £100 gross merchandise value. So essentially what that means is I only message people who have sold £100 worth of product in the last 30 days. I said it very low barrier because I think for me, because my product's so cheap to get out, I actually would rather go quantity over quality. I'd rather just get loads of people making videos, and if one goes bang, you know, it's easy. You know, I'd rather do that than choose specific creators, and also just because I'm doing a commission based idea and a couple of retainers as well. I'll go into that in a minute, but essentially, I didn't have to pay people to make videos. I only had to give them free samples and a commission.
Okay, yeah, so all performance-based. Hey, look, if you drive sales, you're going to make money. I'm going to make money. Everybody's happy, but it's not, and it all it cost you was the cost of the product to get in their hands.
Correct.
Are we focusing only on UK creators too? Is it like this is worldwide?
Yeah, so this is the thing. So CoolTowel for 2023, 2024, and basically all of 2025 has been UK only. Mainly because TikTok Shop does not allow me to sell internationally. That's one big issue I've got with it. But it's definitely got its downside to that because the UK weather is extremely seasonal. So I've probably got a 4-month window of relatively hot weather, and then it goes to rain and cold and winter. So I'm almost out of time really, and that's why my plans in the future is definitely to expand internationally. But do you want me to read out the cold message I sent out to the creators?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I said, "Hey, creator name." So I basically extracted the creator's name from it, and I said, "I hope you're well. I'm reaching out from CoolTowel, a trademarked family-owned brand with over 11,000 sales on TikTok Shop and hundreds of 5-star reviews. We've built a movement around cooling towels, helping athletes, parents, menopausal women, pet owners, and outdoor workers beat the heat naturally. No batteries, no chemicals, just science that works. You wet it, wring it out, and snap it to feel cooler in seconds. What makes us different? We're not just a dropshipping store. We donate to charity, reinvest in creators, and care about actually making a difference. We already have proven video formulas shared with affiliates that drive thousands in commissions. And if your content performs, we will boost it with paid ads and offer retainers for long-term deals. You'd earn a 20% commission, and we'd love to send you out a free sample so you can try it out first. Let me know if you're interested by requesting a sample, and I'd be happy to answer any questions and get you involved. Best regards, Harrison, founder, CoolTowel. That was the message I sent out.
Yeah, that sounds great.
And that had a pretty good response rate, I think, for cold messaging. And I also think, go on, yeah.
Did you pay any attention to follower count on those creator accounts that you're reaching out to, or is like that's pretty irrelevant?
When I was manually doing it, I did, but I actually realised that followers especially on TikTok, don't really matter. It really depends on, because someone with 2 million followers can get the same amount of views as someone with 50,000, and someone with 50,000 can get the same amount of people with 100. It all depends on the quality of the video.
No, that's good. Do you have a sense of how many free cool towels you sent out to creators, to influencers, to try and cast this really wide net, this body of content you're trying to build up?
I've probably sent around 800, maybe 1,000 free samples out. A lot of them haven't got any sales back. A lot of them were even people who didn't make a video at all. I'm not saying everyone was successful, but I mean, I've had some cases where they've done £15,000 in revenue just from one video. Like, some of them have been ridiculously good, and it's really been been successful. So yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be the name of the game. It's almost playing like micro venture capitalist, where it's like, I'm going to plant a bunch of seeds, and I know most of them aren't going to grow, and most of them aren't going to do anything, but the one or two that do, they're going to wipe out all the losses, all the costs of doing everything else, and and make a ton of sales.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Right.
So we mentioned Shopify. We mentioned the Reacher app to kind of automate some of this outreach process. Anything else on the tools and tech side that is helping run this business?
I use a lot of Canva. Anything to do with designing, you can do on Canva. It's ridiculous. I use a lot of ChatGPT. This is a big one. I use a lot of AI just to help me. I mainly use it for customer service. So I have an AI bot to do some of the customer service, and if it doesn't respond in time, if there's a big issue, it then goes to me. But I also use ChatGPT for big, like, if I have to do anything that needs a lot of time, I chuck it into ChatGPT and see if it can do it for me. But if it can't, obviously I will do it myself. But yeah, it's a big
Do you
one.
have a recent example of a ChatGPT use case like that?
For example, I'd say, like, help me set out a layout for my website for a cooling towel, and here's the information for it. Make sure it's X, Y, and Z, and make sure it fits the theme that I'm going for. And I basically just, the main thing for me with AI is to give it a good foundation. You can't just say a couple words. For me, it's got to be a good foundation. To get the output you want, you have to give a good input. Fiverr is another one. If I ever need to outsource something, I will occasionally go to Fiverr if I really can't do it myself. But most of the time, I do tend to try and do it myself, just because I feel like it's good, especially for me. Like, I like to learn new skills and learn how to do it myself, just so it's sustainable, because I don't want to keep outsourcing it.
Now on the site, it looks like you're doing all you can to improve the average order value. It's like, well, the shipping is more or less the same if I'm sending one of these out, or if I'm sending 2, 3, 4, 5 of these out. So it looks like you're kind of encouraging multiple orders. Hey, buy one for the whole family, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Anything else you found effective in increasing that cart size?
Well, for the dropshipping stores I was running, I like to upsell as well, if possible. And I'd like to also try and only use products that drive repeat purchases. So obviously CoolTowel isn't a big one, but at the end of the day, the towel will eventually get smelly. And, it's like clothes, you want to eventually get a new one, which is good for me, obviously, because it means reoccurring income, and the average order price of a customer does increase,
Yeah, but not... It's not something that people are going to subscribe to, especially on their first order. Like, hey, I'll send you one every 3 months. Like, probably not.
No. Yeah, I agree. I also think Well, this is so for my plan in the future. I'm going to start creating new products, and I'm going to try and upsell them. I'm going to do like cooling headbands, cooling pet products. Different colors, different packaging. There's lots of different pathways I'm going down, and
Okay.
essentially
Yeah.
I'm trying to increase the cart value. That's the main thing.
Got it. Okay. Underneath the CoolTowel umbrella, we could have other cooling related products. Yeah.
Correct.
Expand more and more, add more SKUs to the
Hmm.
inventory here.
Correct.
Talk to me about the logistics side of this. So after the first, well, we shipped these out second rate or second class mail, and that was a
Hmm.
mistake. And so, what's the fulfillment side look like? You're still fulfilling orders yourself. I think I saw a video of hiring a bunch of teammates and friends to come pack and label and do all this stuff. But what's that side of it?
So this is like the big question I get asked is why don't you go to a 3PL, a third party fulfillment, so a warehouse to do it for you? And the main
Yeah.
thing for me is one, I enjoy packing them. I like the process. It's quite satisfying, seeing all the orders go out the door. But two, people like a tangible business. People like the fact that um, they can see it's real. It's not just some big corporation. Three, I can make content out of it, and that will then lead to more sales. And yeah, so with the orders, I either do it myself, and if it's a big day, it's all from my bedroom here behind me. I've got over there.
Yeah.
I've got boxes and boxes of CoolTowels. It's in my bedroom. Um, yeah. So if it's a big day, if it's a really hot day, and I've got loads of ads running, and I've got my biggest day. I think was about £25,000 in revenue this year, which was like it sold me out. It was just like ridiculous. And for
Which would
that day,
be what, like 1,500 or 2,000 towels, individual towels?
yeah, it was something around 2,000. Yeah.
Oh my
For
gosh,
that
that's like
day,
so
I
much
literally
packing and shipping and
yeah.
licking and stamping and
So
labeling.
I bought around 10 of my school friends. And I paid them all, a good wage. I got my family round. Literally everyone was here, and I mean, I didn't do it for that day, but a couple of the days, if it got that big, I would then also utilize my dad's warehouse space. So he runs his own bespoke furniture business. Um,
Oh, okay. So there's some storage. This is in the family.
yeah,
We have some
yeah,
extra
correct,
space. Okay.
yeah. I mean, I did have the option of renting it out, but one, I want to like lower my overhead costs as much as possible, and also like I enjoy having it here. It's not a burden to me. I think
Yeah.
it's good. I enjoy it.
Okay. So packing and doing the shipping yourself, again, margins are pretty thin. So having a 3PL, you don't have to raise prices or do,
Correct.
something else to cover their fulfillment cost space. And you don't get any content out of it because somebody else is
Yeah.
doing the work. So what happens when you have this viral hit and it's 2,000 orders in a day, something nuts, and you're like, well, I only have 1,000 units in stock. Like, what happens to the stuff where it's like, oh, we physically can't fulfill this because we don't have it?
So this is actually a really good question because this happened to me. Um, Essentially, I oversold massively. So what happened was I was a bit stupid, really. So I got the sales and I had the order. So the order was coming from my manufacturer, and it said it was expected to be here in about 3 days or 4 days. But long story short, it got stuck in customs, so it got stuck, at the
Yeah, yeah,
airport.
yeah.
It was, and all the orders just were sitting there. I had all the orders on the computer, but I couldn't fill them because I didn't have any stock. I
Yeah.
completely sold out. So I think it was about 2,000 orders over the course of it was like 2 weeks that they were stuck in customs. So I was like, okay, this is
Yeah.
really
Oh,
bad. And I emailed TikTok. I tried to sort it out. I tried to say, can you try and help me? Can you delay the cancel? Because basically on TikTok, after a certain amount of time, it will cancel the orders, and I'll just lose all the money. Um, and that's what happened. I lost 2,000 orders, and that was all. I still had to pay affiliate commission. I'm pretty sure. I still had to pay ad spend. That's the main cost that I lost. It was about so in
sure.
total, I reckon I lost £10,000 in a week, which was a
Oh,
big loss. And I do think
yeah,
I
that's
did manage to
brutal.
recover some of that because I used this platform Reacher to send out messages to the buyers that orders have been automatically cancelled, and I said, "Hey, so sorry about this. The stock got stuck in customs, which was a bit awkward." But I sent a nice message, and I think I got a few sales back, which is good. But Pretty broke
Yeah,
even,
yeah,
which
that's
wasn't great.
so frustrating. It's kind of this
Yeah,
impulse buy price point where it's like, oh,
yeah,
you see the video, sure,
yeah,
I'll take a chance at that for
yeah.
10 or 15 pounds to get a couple.
Hmm.
And then it's like, but then if it doesn't show up immediately, it's like, well,
Yeah,
do I really
yeah,
need this in my life anymore? Or it's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
it gets
yeah.
canceled.
And it also
Uh,
really helped my brand as well because lots of people wrote negative reviews, and I think it it hurt the brand. Yeah, it hurt the brand.
yeah.
Not just
Well,
money. It hurt me.
there's like a lot of different pieces to juggle and try and forecast because you don't know when the next viral thing is going to hit. It's like, I don't need to
Mhm.
order 5,000 units if I don't think
Mhm.
I'm going to sell 5,000 units and
Yeah.
have all that
Yeah.
cash tied up
Yeah.
sitting in the warehouse. It's like, there's a lot, there's a lot of moving parts here.
Mhm. Mhm.
So aside from that mistake, the initial shipping mistake, anything else you would do differently starting this thing over?
At first, I advertised the brand as like a. I only used the logo. I didn't use my face. I only used the logo and the product. I think if I used my personal brand from earlier, maybe I would have done a little bit better. But I'm definitely doing that now. You know, I think personal branding is now, especially in 2025, it's something that is so strong, and you know, there's so much potential in that, and that's definitely something I want to keep going with and keep expanding. Um, I
You
also think
think
I
that's a
would like.
response to just everything being AI generated? It's like, no, I want to buy from Harrison. I want to buy from an
Yeah,
actual person.
I do. I really think that. Yeah, I think a lot of my sales have been because people like to support real businesses and ones that
Yeah.
aren't just AI. Yeah,
Well, very cool. You've gotten lots of great press. It was a Yahoo article that I initially found
yeah,
about you. It's like, well, this is a really inspiring story. Any other big surprises that have happened as a result?
yes. This is a big one. So literally about 2 months ago, from the personal brand videos that I made, like packaging orders and telling my story. That was where it all started on the Harrison Nott TikTok account. And
Yeah.
essentially, I went viral on there. I got like multiple videos with like 4 million views, just because people like the fact that it was a teenager, not just like gaming.
Yeah.
And from that, one, I got sales. Two, I developed a personal brand. Although it's still quite small, it's still better than nothing. Um, Three, I got quite a few opportunities and people email me, like just like yourself, you emailed me. But I also had lots of different people. Really, I had a guy called Alex who like owns a big company, and he was like, if you ever need any help or mentorship, I can do that for you free of charge. So opportunities really. And the main one that I got from these personal brand videos was an email from Alibaba, and they said we are doing a co-create event in Las Vegas and London,
Okay.
and essentially we want you at both of them, and it would be all costs paid, and we want you to create
Yeah.
promotional videos,
Wow.
and basically it was like a brand deal, and I've never had that before. That was like that. I'm literally going to Vegas in 4 days, 5 days. I'm going off to Vegas, paid by them. So that was really 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 cool, I think, and yeah, that was a cool experience.
That's really cool. Yeah. You never know
Networking as well.
who's out there watching.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, networking,
I thought
and
I
also
thought school was starting next week, but no, you go to Vegas?
so school starts on the 2nd of September, but I'm off to Vegas. Yeah, I've got permission by the school to have the time off. Yeah,
School can wait. I got business to
yeah,
attend to.
yeah. I do really I focus on school a lot as well as businesses as well as squash and the gym, but yeah, I just like to be busy all the time really. But
Yeah.
with,
Well,
with
that's really
with the
cool. I think
personal
this
brand
is
thing,
probably going to be the rule for our kids on social media. Is like you don't
yeah.
need to be on here unless you're making money. You don't need to be on here
Hmm.
unless you're building something. If you're a creator rather than just
Yeah.
a consumer.
I
So it's
think it's
really,
social. I think social media is good. I think it's great to relax, but then I think people overuse it. I think it's good in moderation. I use it in moderation. I don't watch too much of it, but I do watch it. Like it's entertaining. And I also think you can also learn from videos. Some of the time. There's educational videos
yeah,
out there.
sure, sure.
But also from the personal brand videos that went viral, the main thing was like I said, I developed networking with people like yourself, there are lots of um, people that message me saying, like I'm X, Y, and Z, and I like what you're doing. If you ever need any help, if you ever need any advice, do you want to do this X opportunity with me? And one of them was a company called pause.com. And essentially we're in the process of developing a partnership to create a dog cooling towel. And they're quite a big company, so like there's lots of opportunities you can get from posting social media videos. I think that's one big thing. It doesn't have to be about business either. It can be about anything. Your passion.
All right, so we're expanding the product line. We've got the different colors, different use cases. The dog product line. We've got this Alibaba event, all expenses paid. We've got school coming up. What else is on the horizon for you?
International sales. This is one big thing for me. So I've got friends in America. That's one, I definitely want to get out to the States, and maybe even like, hot countries in Africa and other. Basically, I want to get around the world. I want to get CoolTowel around the world, whether that's through 3PL or whether that's through like networking. So I've had quite a few people from like loads of different countries saying we'd love to host your product out here and dispatch it, around our country.
It's a brief selling window. Are you doing Amazon at all? I should have asked earlier.
I am on Amazon, but I get probably like 1 or 2 sales a day maximum. I think that's because really I don't know enough about the platform just yet. I think I can utilize it a lot more, but I basically just create a listing and let it run. Like I didn't do anything to it, so it's just
got it.
running.
Yeah, we talked to another e-commerce entrepreneur earlier this summer, and he was like, "Yeah, I have the listing up there because I think people just have a certain level of comfort with Amazon. They heard about this through my own marketing, but for whatever reason, they're like, I don't want to check out on this guy's individual store, but I will go out and seek it out directly on Amazon."
That's what I found. I looked at Google's like search results, and a lot of people like. Especially when I was only on TikTok Shop, lots of people saw the product, loved it, and didn't trust TikTok Shop at that point in time. And I think I lost a lot of sales just because I wasn't on the website nor Amazon. So that was definitely a big one. But regarding my plans for the future, I'd also like to get a bit more into wholesaling and like potentially even retail. I'd like to, sell to big to sports shops or sell to hotels. There's so many different pathways that I can go down, and I've got big plans. I need to make a lot of decisions, really, I think. But yeah, that's the
I'm
goal.
excited to see where it goes. I imagine we'll probably do a follow-up at some point and see kind of where are they now with what happened with CoolTowel.
It might not even be CoolTowel. I have a I'm also looking to develop my personal brand and not only develop the CoolTowel name, but also develop my name, because it's so powerful, especially in 2025, and it just means that I can keep creating businesses and have that audience that likes to trust me.
Absolutely.
I think in the future I'd like to help people create businesses. I'd like to help people learn about entrepreneurship, whether that's side hustles, whether that's e-commerce like I'm doing, anything really. I'd like to just develop a social media page that helps people. Yeah.
Well, very good. We'll link that up. Give him a follow at Harrison Nott on TikTok, and again, cooltowel.co.uk. And really appreciate you stopping by. This has been great, taking some lumps along the way, but overall, lots of cool lessons learned and some success from selling these things on TikTok and Shopify. Let's wrap this thing up with your number 1 tip for Side Hustle Nation.
For me, it would be don't give up. Stay resilient. If it was easy, then everyone would do it. Because the pathway won't be smooth. It will be bumpy, and there'll be so many mistakes that you have to get over, and so many errors and so many problems. But just enjoy the process and learn from your mistakes. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, I like that one. That's a line we use quite a bit. If it were easy, everybody would be doing it. So keep at it. A couple takeaways from me before we wrap. Number 1, like on the surface, simple business. Buy low, sell high. Buy the product cheap, sell it for more, make your margin. But there's some complexities in the shipping and fulfillment, in the timing of cash flow, in the marketing. And on that marketing side, the importance of branding and being able to drive
Yeah.
your own traffic, especially for something that might be considered somewhat commoditized. Like, okay, I'll just go with the cheapest one. It's like, but no, if I found the CoolTowel video and that's specifically the one that I'm after, click, 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 and now I'm checked out on your store page, I didn't have time. I didn't even think about shopping the competition, right? So you kind of command premium prices or higher prices than you would if you're just like a generic competitor on Amazon. So those were a couple things that stood out to me. Your listener bonus for this week is my list of 25 e-commerce niche ideas to get your creative juices flowing. If you've been inspired by this chat with Harrison, you can download that for free at the show notes for this episode and just follow the show notes link in the episode description. It'll get you right over there. Big thanks to Harrison for sharing his insight, and big thanks to our sponsors for helping make this content free for everyone. SideHustleNation.com/deals is where to go to find all the latest offers from our sponsors in one place. That is it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're finding value in the show, the greatest compliment is to share it with a friend. So fire off that text message to that young person in your life who might be inspired by Harrison's story. Until next time, let's go out there and make something happen. And I'll catch you in the next edition of The Side Hustle Show. Hustle on.